Jake Doolittle made another bad video, doubled down on it, deleted it, apologized for it, begged Ethan Klein not to react to it, went to the hospital, guilt-tripped his audience again, and potentially ruined his career even more than it was already ruined. And today I'm going to go through the entire Jake Doolittle H3 timeline. But before I do, hey, hi, hello, welcome to the Art of Slop. My name is Dan Frampton, and that is Munchie the Straight Edge Nutcracker. I got my NASCAR shirt and my trucker hat on, and you know what that means. It's time to make some slop. Like, comment, and subscribe. This drama is going to go back to about 2021, 4 years or so. But before we get there, I gotta introduce the main characters of today's story. First, we gotta talk about Jake Doolittle. He's a little bit of a bread tuber, a little bit of a commentary guy. If you're not familiar with the term bread tuber, it means basically you just operate a YouTube channel with like a left-leaning sensibility. Most bread tubers don't call themselves bread tubers, they get labeled as a bread tuber by people that watch them, being like, oh, this guy gives bread tuber vibes. Jake Doolittle is one of these guys. I have never watched a Jake Doolittle video up until recently, and the only videos I watched are the bad videos that got a lot of criticism, that got him in a lot of drama. But he talks about just like common characters on the internet, Tyler Oliveira, Hawk Tua, FouseyTube, just a whatever kind of guy. The next character we gotta talk about in today's story is a much bigger creator known as Ethan Klein, aka H3H3, aka H3 Podcast. And if you can see here, his most recent podcast is an episode where he is talking about Jake Doolittle. But that happened 18 hours ago. This drama actually started much longer ago in the year 2021. This is before it was even a drama. This is just when Jake Doolittle was just a fan of the H3 show. Jake Doolittle called in to the H3 podcast. We're not going to go through any of the clips of this podcast or whatever, but the long and short of it is Jake took pictures for ultra rich and famous influencers, the D'Amelios. The D'Amelios then used those pictures in like a book or a magazine or whatever. They published the pictures, but did not compensate Jake Doolittle for the pictures. Jake Doolittle was pissed. Then he called into H3 and was like, I didn't get money. Do you know what H3 did? H3 gave him $500. But during this podcast, Jake Doolittle was like, hey, that's great about the $500 and all, but how about you just like look over my resume and try to hire me or whatever. So all the way back then, it was clear that Jake Doolittle's intentions weren't entirely pure. He was looking for ways in, he was looking a way to connive his way onto the H3 team. Ethan did end up sending him the $500, and still all this drama would ensue. And then fast forward to 2022, there's a little influencer boxing event known as Creator Clash, thrown by iDubbbz. AB, who's a guy on the H3 podcast, was contracted to fight on that event. And do you know who tracked him down in his hotel like a sneaky, weaselly little stalker? Jake Doolittle. He cornered AB in the lobby of the hotel and was like, I'm gonna take pictures of you during your fight. And pictures of him he took. AB didn't share any of the pictures, but AB's wife, Lena, did. Or Lena? I always forget how to pronounce it. Anyway, this is the picture that she posted. It's an alright picture, but I mean, it's not professional quality or whatever. It is just like an Instagram picture. And this is the guy that got $500 from Ethan for those Charli D'Amelio pictures. Ridiculous. But now, Jake Doolittle had his little claws into the H3 team. He would then go on to harass everybody in DMs, except for Zach, to collaborate with him. Hey Dan, you gotta collaborate with me. Hey AB, you gotta collaborate with me. Olivia, come on to my channel. And he would just send them messages over and over and over again, and none of them would collaborate with him until one day AB caved and did a TikTok reaction video with Jake Doolittle. And that would go on to be the biggest mistake of all time, because now Jake Doolittle has it in his mind that he works with H3, that he's at least in conjunction with them in some way, shape, or form. And now that brings us to 2023. And for this video, I had to go to Rob's Media Archive. Huge shout out to Rob's Media and Rob's Media Archive for picking up all the scraps that Jake Doolittle is deleting along his way. But in this now deleted video that was uploaded a year ago entitled Ethan Klein, hypocrite or hypochondriac, Jake Doolittle makes this 45-minute bad faith teardown of Ethan Klein. So the context of this is, back then, around 2023, Ethan Klein was having health scare issues. He was getting some rashes, he was feeling all sorts of weird things, he was consulting ChatGPT, he was going to his doctors, but along the way, he was getting very anxious about all these symptoms that he was having. So much so that it was turned into like comedy and into a bit on the H3 podcast, which is like par for the course or whatever. In this now deleted video, Jake Doolittle basically accuses H3 of lying about having lupus to elicit money and sympathy from his audience, which is just not true. That wasn't a part of it. That wasn't what went down. And he based his entire video off of that false premise. It was just bad faith take after bad faith take for 45 minutes. And the kicker of that is, Jake Doolittle dropped this video when he knew that H3 was going on Christmas break. AB thinks that was strategic on Jake Doolittle's part. He was waiting for H3 to go on hiatus. Well, not really hiatus, Christmas break. And then during that time, Jake Doolittle was gonna bait Ethan into making a second channel response to it. But to Ethan's credit, he held restraint and waited until the podcast came back to respond to this video. So Ethan bit his tongue and held his breath for 3 weeks, and then the day before Ethan came back to his show, he hyped up his return with a picture of Jake Doolittle's face. Now apparently because of how bad Jake Doolittle's video was, he ended up getting all sorts of threats and harassment from the audience or whatever, and that's bad, no one likes that. But Jake's problem is he tries to use that to elicit more sympathy from his audience and be like, oh, H3 is just bullying me, where you just made a 45-minute tear-down, take-down, hit-piece video that was rooted in lies and untruths. But anyway, Ethan came back and responded to the entire video. This entire timeline here is the response to that video. And since Jake took down the original video and the context of Ethan's response is very crucial, I do suggest that you go watch the entire thing. But I'm not gonna sit here for the better part of 2 hours right now and go through the entire thing. I did that last night. And in Jake's video, not only does he say that Ethan is lying about having lupus, he's saying that he's lying about his mother's illnesses too. Just because he can't pronounce them, and just because he has a little bit of dyslexia, that means the legitimacy of these illnesses are going to be called into question. And this video, this response, this leads us to the next crucial element in this story, and that is Jake Doolittle's charity organization, the nonprofit known as Never Stop. On the surface, this is a great charity. Every month, Jake gives $500 to somebody that needs it. Somebody that has astronomical health bills, somebody that's far behind on something. Never Stop aims to help those people. On the merch store of Never Stop, only 10% of the proceeds actually goes to the charity. So after Ethan exposed all of this on the podcast, Jake Doolittle comes on and makes a quick little 3.5-minute video being like, sorry guys, I was off the mark, I deleted the video, my bad. And then of course Ethan responded to that, and basically he accepted the apology but said it really wasn't a complete apology. The only thing Ethan wanted from the apology was Jake to recognize that everything that he said was wrong and built on total lies. And that's not really what he apologized for in this video. But because the apology was there directly to Ethan and the video was removed, ultimately Ethan was like, you know what? No grudges held, fine and dandy, go on with your life, Jake Doolittle. And that was 10 months ago. Ever since then on the Jake Doolittle front, crickets. It's been silent. That is up until a couple days ago with the release of this video on Jake Doolittle's channel called I'm Frustrated with Commentary YouTubers. And the reason why I'm on Twitter right now is because this video was deleted and its archive on Rob's Media Archive was hit with a copyright claim. Video unavailable. This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Jake Doolittle. Jake is doing everything he can to hide this most recent video because this most recent video is even worse than the teardown, takedown, Ethan Klein hit piece video. It's only 15 minutes long, but it's 1,000 times more damaging. In this video, Jake Doolittle basically blackmails all his big YouTuber friends into not donating to his charity Never Stop. He basically says he knows rich famous YouTubers, but those rich famous YouTubers aren't helping his charity, and that's a bad thing, and that means he's been backstabbed. He goes on to illustrate that these big famous YouTubers have unfollowed him, have stopped responding to his messages, and in some cases have even blocked him. Man's posting his L's out here in broad daylight. In this video, Jake claims that he's working so hard. He's pumping out 3 videos a week, and he has the absolute audacity to say, who else is doing that? Literally everybody on the platform, Jake Doolittle. Who else is doing that? My God. He goes on to downplay how bad the previous video was, saying that, oh, you know, some videos are bound to flop, and because that one video flopped a little bit a year ago, that's why these big famous YouTubers aren't helping me out today. Buddy, a year ago that video did more than just flop. A year ago, that video showed everybody your true colors, showed everybody that you're a snake, that you respond in bad faith, that you act on your emotions, and that you don't lean on facts. When you have a grudge, you're just gonna say whatever. And the kicker is, you're gonna leave the video up for 3 weeks until Ethan Klein is responding to it live on his channel, and then you're gonna private it. You showed everybody you're a clown, coward, snake, scumbag, loser, weirdo. Of course people are unfollowing you. And of course those people that are unfollowing you aren't going to support your dumbass charity that you're guilting them into supporting, that you're blackmailing them into supporting. Because in this newer video, he goes on to say, these big YouTubers unfollowed me, they left me on red, they're not helping me out, and I'm not going to name names, but in the future, I am going to name names. He threatens them. And there are some leading theories who he is threatening. Not the guys here in the thumbnail. This is a misdirection. The big YouTubers that people are most speculating that he's talking about in this video are Drew Gooden and Curtis Connor. Like, that Ethan Klein video was the reason why everybody unfollowed you, and for you to just have the total lack of self-awareness to be like, oh, whoopsie doopsie, they should still be my friend. I don't know about that. And good God, the damage that he caused in 15 minutes and 34 seconds would continue. He claimed that one of those big YouTubers was asking him for advice, content strategy advice, and in return, Jake Doolittle admits to then being like, hey, I helped you, now how about you help me? Total snake move. So of course, he deletes the video, he takes down the archive of the video, but our boy Ethan Klein, you knew that he was gonna download it and react to it, much like he did the first one. But I don't think he had to download this one. I think this one was still up by the time he reacted to it. And as Ethan Klein is live reacting to I'm frustrated with commentary YouTubers, Jake Doolittle buys a membership to the H3 channel and purchases a super chat just so he can say, and I quote, "Can this wait? I'm actively in the hospital." Actively in the hospital. Every way through this, he is trying to use guilt to suppress any criticism that is justifiably going his way. Actively in the hospital. Oh yeah, and it would turn out that our boy was actually actively in the hospital, and he posted a live stream from the hospital where he made the most disingenuous apology of all time. We're not gonna get into the entire clip, but just watch how he starts it. Oh my God, video is unavailable too. Whoopsie doopsie, guess we won't be looking at that one either. Oh, just kidding, Ethan Klein responded to that too.
This was his live stream.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
That title's harsh.
Jake Doolittle's Crybaby live stream. Should I start at 1 minute or should I go back?
Yeah, no, where I started is where he really starts.
A video like 2 days ago that was really bitter and annoyed. So this is me just checking in, saying hello, apologizing.
Oh my God. This is your apology?
Apologizing. Yeah, that's not really how you apologize. This is just me checking in, I guess. I just have to apologize for making another bitter, bad faith video. My God, this guy sucks so much. And now Jake Doolittle has just solidified himself as the newest guy for everybody to just throw tomatoes at for the foreseeable future. Because now that this drama is 4 years old, it's gonna take such a hell of a digging out to dig himself out of this hole. The guilt trips, the blackmail, the bad faith takes, the lying, the stalking, the pressuring. This guy is absolutely incredulous. And that's where the timeline sits right now. There might be further developments, but I'm not so sure about that. Jake Doolittle sucks, and Ethan Klein is on a hell of a redemption arc. I stopped watching his podcast around 2020, and right now it's actually starting to seem kind of entertaining again. But I've been Dan Frampton, that was the Slop. Until my next upload, watch another upload. Okay, take care and have a good one.